All right, everyone, welcome. Today we're going to do a deep dive into scaling a business.
Ew, fun.
Yeah, we've got tons of sources on this. And
Yeah.
it's something that I think, every business owner thinks about at some point.
Definitely. Like it can make or break you.
Exactly.
Scaling.
So hopefully we can pull out some good stuff from these sources.
Yeah, I mean, I've been looking through these and there is just so much good stuff here.
Yeah, so much to cover.
So where should we even begin?
Well, let's start with this. When you think about scaling, it's not just about, getting bigger, right?
No. It's got to be smart growth.
Right, it's got to be strategic.
Sustainable.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like, if you're building a house,
Yeah.
you don't want to just keep adding floors on top of floors if you don't have a good foundation.
Right.
And
Yeah.
a well thought out plan.
So how do we, create that foundation, I guess, is the question, right?
Yeah, for sure.
What's the first step?
Well, I think one of the biggest things that all these sources kind of agree on
Yeah.
is that vision and strategy,
Yeah.
that's got to be step one.
Having that clear vision.
Absolutely.
Knowing where you want to go.
Yeah. And how you're going to get there
Right.
and making sure that your market is ready for what you're building.
Okay, so that's really interesting because it sounds like it's not just about
Yeah.
An internal vision, it's about understanding the market as well.
You got to know what's going on out there. You got to know if there's even a need for what you're doing.
Right.
You can't just build something and hope people will come.
Yeah.
You got to make sure there's actually a demand for it.
Absolutely. Okay, so we've got our vision, we've done our market research. What comes after that?
So, okay, once you have that solid foundation, I think the next step is really thinking about your operational infrastructure.
Okay, operational infrastructure.
How is your business actually gonna function and be able to handle this growth?
Right.
It's kind of like, you could have the most amazing car in the world,
Okay.
but if the engine can't handle the speed,
You're not going anywhere.
you're not going anywhere.
Right. It's all going to fall apart.
Yeah, exactly.
So what are the key elements of that infrastructure?
So there are three things that come up again and again in these sources.
Go.
Automation, outsourcing, and scalable processes.
Those are big ones.
They really are.
Okay, let's break them down one by one.
Okay, so automation first.
Okay.
This is huge, right? Imagine you're spending hours every week manually sending out invoices.
Yeah.
What if you could automate that?
Right.
And free up all that time
Right.
to focus on, actually growing your business.
I'm already feeling more relaxed thinking about that.
Right. And it's not just about saving time. It's also about reducing errors, ensuring consistency,
Yeah.
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 I was reading this one source, and they gave a really good example of a company that automated their customer onboarding process.
Interesting.
And it made such a difference.
In what way?
Well, it saved them a ton of time, obviously.
Right.
But it also meant that every new customer had the same positive onboarding experience.
So consistency is key.
Huge, yeah.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, so automation is having a tireless assistant
I like that.
working for you 24/7.
Okay, so what about outsourcing?
Outsourcing, this is all about bringing in experts for things that you're maybe not so good at or that take up too much of your time.
Makes sense.
Let's say you're not a numbers person, but you need to manage your company's finances.
Right.
Instead of trying to do it yourself and probably messing it up,
Yeah.
you could outsource to an accountant.
To a pro.
Exactly. Someone who knows what they're doing.
Okay.
And then you can focus on what you're good at.
On your strengths.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, I like it.
Delegate,
right?
Yeah.
So we've covered automation, outsourcing. Now, what about scalable processes?
Scalable processes. This is like having a set of instructions
Correct,
that
yeah.
can grow with your business.
Right.
It's imagine a recipe.
Yeah.
If you want to double the batch, you just double the ingredients.
Right.
Same idea with business processes.
Gotcha.
If you have a system for, say, fulfilling orders,
Yeah.
and that system is scalable, you can easily handle an increase in orders.
Without everything falling apart.
Exactly. No bottlenecks, no chaos.
So it's kind of like a blueprint that can adapt as the building grows.
Exactly. Yeah. One of the sources actually had a really cool example of how to create a scalable process
Oh, I'd love to hear it.
for customer service.
Okay.
Creating standardized responses to common questions, setting up a ticketing system.
Yeah.
So you can manage inquiries more efficiently.
So it's all about creating systems that can handle growth
Exactly.
without sacrificing quality.
Sure, precisely.
Okay, so listeners, think about this for a second. Do you have systems in place that can handle growth?
Yeah.
Or are you kind of still relying on some of those like more manual processes?
Yeah, the duct tape and glue solution.
Exactly.
Yeah.
This is where you can really start to like build that foundation
Yeah, for
that
sure.
we talked about earlier.
Absolutely.
So we've covered a lot of ground here.
Yeah, we've got vision, strategy, operational infrastructure.
It's a good start.
It is, but there's so much more to the scaling puzzle.
Right. Like, I know we haven't even touched on technology yet.
Oh, yeah, technology, that's a whole other beast.
That's a whole other deep dive right there.
Exactly.
Well, we're going to have to save that for next time.
I'm excited for that one.
Yeah, me too.
All right, so until then, keep those scaling dreams alive.
And we'll be back with more insights soon.
See ya.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so we talked a lot about like the groundwork.
Yeah, the foundation.
Getting ready for that big growth spurt.
Right. Setting yourself up for success.
Exactly. And now,
Let's talk tech.
Ooh, tech.
Yeah, because, when it comes to scaling, technology can be a total game changer.
It can be it's like having all these superpowers.
Yeah, seriously.
Right at your fingertips.
It's like having a whole toolbox full of tools that can help you reach more customers, streamline everything.
Make smarter decisions.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
One of the sources actually calls technology like the great enabler.
Oh, I like that.
When it comes to scaling, and I think that's so true.
It really is. It can make things that seemed impossible before suddenly possible.
Yeah.
So let's dive into the specifics a little bit.
Okay, yeah.
What are some of the technologies that these sources are really highlighting?
So there are a bunch, obviously, but there are 3 that kind of stand out.
Okay.
CRMs, e-commerce platforms, and data analytics.
Okay, those are like the big 3.
I think so, yeah, at least when it comes to scaling.
Okay, so CRMs, customer relationship management systems.
Those are all about like managing your relationships with your customers, keeping track of everything.
Exactly. So it's more than just like a digital address book.
Okay.
It's like a central hub.
Yeah.
Where you can track all your interactions with customers, like from their first contact to their purchase history, everything.
So you can see like what they've bought before.
Yeah.
What they've maybe clicked on.
Their preferences, their birthdays. I mean, you can really get to know your customers.
So you can like personalize everything.
Exactly.
Based on their behavior.
And provide them with a much better experience.
Right.
Because you understand them better.
So that makes a lot of sense.
One of the sources actually had a really cool example of this small online retailer that started using a CRM.
Okay.
And they were able to segment their customers based on like their past purchases.
Okay.
And then send them personalized recommendations.
Oh, wow.
So instead of just sending out these generic emails.
Yeah. They were actually sending people stuff they were interested in.
Targeted.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And their conversion rates like went through the roof.
That's amazing.
Yeah. It's crazy how much of a difference it can make.
So it's really all about like using the data to your advantage.
Totally, yeah.
To make smarter decisions.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so we've talked about CRMs. What about e-commerce platforms?
Oh, e-commerce. This is how you take your business global.
Right. You're no longer limited by like your physical location.
Exactly. You can reach customers all over the world.
Which is incredible.
Yeah, it's like having a store that's open 24/7.
247, 365.
Exactly, yeah.
One of the sources talks about this company that started out selling handmade jewelry.
Okay.
Like just locally. And then they launched an e-commerce site.
Okay.
And within a year, they were shipping orders to every continent.
Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah.
Talk about breaking down barriers.
It's really, really incredible what technology can do.
It really is, yeah. So you've got your online store, you're reaching all these new customers, but then how do you like make sense of all the data?
That's where data analytics comes in.
Okay, data analytics, this is where I get a little bit lost.
Yeah, I know. It can seem intimidating.
It seems very technical.
Yeah, but it doesn't have to be.
Okay.
It's basically just about turning raw data into insights.
Okay, so taking all the numbers and making them mean something.
Exactly. So you can track things like website traffic, customer behavior, sales trends, marketing campaign performance.
And then use that information to
make better decisions.
Make better decisions.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's not just like going with your gut anymore.
No. It's about looking at the evidence and making informed choices.
Okay, I like that.
One of the sources talks about this thing called cohort analysis.
Cohort analysis, okay.
Which is basically a way of grouping customers based on shared characteristics.
Okay.
Like when they made their first purchase, and then you can see how their behavior changes over time.
Interesting.
So you can spot patterns, predict trends.
That's pretty cool.
It's like having a crystal ball.
Kinda.
For your business.
Wow. Okay, so I'm starting to see how these three things,
Yeah,
CRMs, e-commerce, data analytics, they all kind of work together
totally. Yeah.
to create this, like, powerful ecosystem for growth.
It's like a three-legged stool.
Okay,
You need all three to be stable.
gotcha. So you can't just focus on one.
Exactly. You got to have all three working together.
That's a great analogy.
So technology is a huge part of scaling,
Yeah.
but there are other things to consider too,
Okay, like what?
like customer retention, building a strong team.
Okay, so it's not just about the tech.
No, it's about the people too.
Right, the human element.
Exactly. We'll get into that more next time.
Sounds good. I'm looking forward to it.
Mm.
So we've talked tech, we've talked about building that foundation, and it's all really exciting. But I
Yeah.
think it's also important to remember that it's not just about, like, the shiny new tool.
It's about the people.
Yeah, it's about the people.
Absolutely.
And it's about the relationships you build with those people.
100%.
And so I guess that brings us to customer retention.
Oh, yeah. Customer retention. This is huge.
Huge.
Like, it's so much easier to keep a customer
Yeah.
than it is to find a new one.
Right, exactly.
And our sources really emphasize that.
Yeah, they do. And they talk about how, like,
Mhm.
it's so important to nurture those relationships.
Yeah, to turn those one-time buyers
Yes.
into loyal fans, like advocates for your brand.
Yeah, exactly. People are going to tell their friends.
Exactly. Word of mouth is gold.
Absolutely.
One of the sources actually uses this analogy of a leaky bucket.
Oh, okay.
You know, you can keep pouring water into a bucket,
Yeah.
but if it's got holes, it's never going to fill up.
Right.
And it's the same with customers.
Yeah.
You can be attracting all these new people, but if you're losing them just as fast,
You're not really getting anywhere.
you're just treading water.
Yeah, exactly.
So how do we plug those leaks?
Yeah. How do we keep those customers happy and coming back for more?
Oh, well, I think the first thing, and this might seem obvious,
Right.
but it's amazing how many businesses get this wrong,
Yeah.
is just providing amazing customer service.
Yes.
Like going above and beyond to solve problems.
Right.
Making people feel valued.
Making them feel like they're more than just a transaction.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like you want them to have a good experience
Yeah.
every time they interact with your business.
I think a lot of it is just about being human. Right?
Yeah, totally.
Like treating people with respect and empathy.
Yeah, showing that you care.
Yeah.
That you're actually listening to them.
Mm-hmm. And I guess another piece of that is, like,
Yeah.
building a community around your brand.
Oh, community, that's so important.
Yeah.
It's like, creating a space
Yeah.
where people can connect,
Mhm.
share their experiences.
Yeah, feel like they're part of something bigger.
Exactly, and that could be through like a loyalty program or events or even just an online forum where people can chat.
I read about this company that sells outdoor gear,
Okay.
and they have this amazing online community
Oh, cool.
where people share photos of their adventures,
Uh-huh.
give each other tips, and they even organize group hikes and stuff.
That's so cool.
It's like
It's brilliant.
they've really tapped into something.
Yeah, it's a great way to build loyalty.
Yeah, because people feel connected
Yeah,
to the brand and to each other.
totally.
So customer service, community, and what else did our sources mention?
Feedback.
Okay.
Getting feedback from your customers,
Right.
like regularly asking them for their input,
Mhm.
whether it's through surveys, reviews, social media.
Shows you care about what they think.
Exactly, and that you're always trying to improve.
Right. It's that two-way communication.
Yes, exactly.
Okay, so we've talked about how important it is to, like, take care of your customers.
Yeah.
But you can't do that without a great team.
Oh, yeah. Your team is everything.
Yeah.
As you scale, you need people who are talented, passionate,
Yeah.
and aligned with your vision.
People who are, like, rowing the boat in the same direction.
Exactly.
Yeah, I love that analogy.
One of the sources actually talks about hiring for culture ad
Okay, culture.
rather
ads.
than just culture fit.
Okay, what's the difference?
So culture fit is like finding people who are just like everyone else.
Oh, cool.
They'll just blend in.
Mm.
But culture ad is about finding people who bring something new to the table.
Okay, so it's about diversity of thought.
Exactly.
Yeah, I like that.
Different perspectives.
Okay.
Different experiences.
It's about building a team that's well-rounded.
Yes, exactly.
Okay, so you've hired your dream team. What's next?
Well, you got to invest in them.
Okay, invest in them. How?
Training, mentorship, opportunities for growth.
Create a culture of learning.
Exactly. You want people to feel like they can develop their skills
Mhm.
and advance their careers within your company.
Right, so they're not just, like, stuck in a rut.
Exactly.
They feel like they're part of something that's growing and evolving.
And that they're growing and evolving along with it.
I like that. Okay, so we've talked about team, we've talked about customers.
Yeah.
What about expanding your offerings?
Yeah. So as you grow,
Yeah.
you might find opportunities to add new products, new services.
All right, branch out a little bit.
Exactly. Maybe expand into new markets.
So it's about like taking what you've already built
Mm-hmm.
and finding new ways to apply it.
Yeah, or finding new needs that you can meet.
Right, right.
One of the sources talks about this company
Okay.
that started out selling organic baby food,
Okay, I've heard of this.
and then they realized that their customers were also looking for healthy snacks for older kids.
Okay.
So they expanded their product line.
And it was a huge success.
Yeah, it was a natural progression.
Yeah.
And it allowed them to tap into a whole new market.
So it's about like listening to your customers,
Yes.
understanding what they need,
Yeah.
and being willing to adapt.
And being strategic about it. Like,
Fair.
you don't want to just add random products.
Yeah, it has to make sense for your brand.
Exactly. It has to be a good fit.
Okay, so we've covered a lot of ground here,
Yeah, we have.
but I feel like there's still one more piece of the puzzle.
What's
Partnerships.
partnerships.
Yeah.
The power of collaboration.
Yes.
This is something that comes up a lot in our sources.
It does, because, you don't have to do everything yourself.
Exactly. You can leverage the strengths of others
Right.
to reach new audiences, access new resources.
It's like, two heads are better than one.
Totally.
One of the sources tells this great story about
Oh, yeah.
a small craft brewery
Okay.
that partnered with a local farm-to-table restaurant,
Oh.
and they created a special beer
Oh, wow.
brewed with ingredients from the farm.
That's awesome.
And the restaurant featured the beer on their menu.
I love that.
And they did all these events together.
So smart.
It was such a cool partnership.
Yeah, it's a win-win for everyone.
Yeah, the brewery got exposure to new customers.
Mm-hmm.
The restaurant had a unique offering.
And the customer's got a delicious beer.
Exactly.
Perfect.
Okay, so partnerships, that's a big one.
It is, yeah.
But, we can't talk about scaling without talking about the elephant in the room.
The financial side of things.
Their money.
Yeah, because scaling can get expensive.
They can.
Gotta invest in technology and people.
Marketing.
Yeah, all of that.
So how do we make sure we're not, like, running out of cash?
Well, I think the most important thing
Yeah.
is having a solid financial plan.
Okay, a financial plan. What does that look like?
So it's basically a roadmap for your finances.
Okay.
You got to track your revenue, your expenses, forecast your cash out needs.
So you know how much money you need.
Exactly, and when you're going to need it.
Okay, so it's about being proactive
Yeah, absolutely.
rather than reactive.
You don't want to be caught off guard.
Right, right.
And another thing to think about is funding.
Okay, funding.
If you need to raise capital to fuel your growth.
Right, because sometimes you need an injection of cash.
Exactly, and there are different ways to do that,
Yeah, investments, loans, crowdfunding.
Yeah, there are options out there.
Okay, so financial planning, funding,
Reinvestment.
reinvestment,
Putting some of your profits back into the business.
so you can keep growing.
Exactly. It's like planting seeds for the future.
Okay, that's a good analogy.
So we've covered a lot of ground in this deep dive.
We have.
And I think one of the biggest takeaways for me is that scaling is not a one-size-fits-all kind of thing.
It's a journey.
It is. It's a journey, and it's different for every business.
Right, what works for one company might not work for another.
Exactly.
So it's about finding what works for you.
And being adaptable.
Adaptable, that's a good word.
Yeah, because the business world is constantly changing.
Right, and you got to be able to change with it,
Exactly. You got to be willing to pivot,
to experiment,
to try new things.
and sometimes to fail.
Yeah, failure is part of the process.
That's how we learn.
Exactly.
So as we wrap up this deep dive, I just want to encourage everyone listening
Yeah.
to think about their own scaling journey.
Mm-hmm.
What are your goals?
What are your challenges?
What are your strengths?
What are your weaknesses?
And what can you do today
To start moving in the right direction.
to start building that foundation for sustainable growth?
Exactly.
Because scaling can be challenging,
Oh, yeah.
but it can also be incredibly rewarding.
Absolutely.
So good luck out there.
Happy scaling, everyone.